The movie begins on the front lawn of a suburban house. Two parents are there, giving a bagged lunch and an emergency phone number to their child on her first day of school. The way the parents talk and the way the camera shows the scene make it seem like the child is a little kid starting kindergarten. However, she is actually 16 years old and starting high school. The girl introduces herself to the audience as Katty Heron and explains that she was homeschooled her whole life until now. The movie shows a brief montage of Katty's fears about what people think of homeschooled kids. They're often seen as either socially awkward geeks or clueless bumpkins. Katty explains that her parents are actually totally normal research zoologists who lived in Africa for 12 years, until her mom got a job offer from Northwestern University. Despite being ordinary, Katty feels nervous about her first day of school. She almost walks into the path of a passing bus and watches the other students' antics with caution as she heads to her homeroom class. In homeroom, Katty tries to introduce herself to a student named Kristen Hadley, who isn't friendly. Two students, Janice and Damien, notice Katty and try to give her advice on where to sit. Then, Katty accidentally bumps into the teacher, Ms. Norberry, who is carrying coffee and donuts. Katty helps Ms. Norberry clean up, and soon after, the principal, Mr. Duvall, arrives to introduce Katty to the class as a new student from Africa. Mr. Duvall mispronounces her name, and Ms. Norberry mistakenly thinks an African-American student is Katty, who is actually white. As Katty goes through her day, she narrates how unfamiliar it is for her not to be trusted by the adults around her. In the cafeteria, no one is friendly to her, so she ends up eating her lunch in a restroom stall. When her parents ask her how her day went, she just rushes past them, looking disappointed. On the second day of homeroom, Damien compliments Katty's natural hair color. Janice then introduces Damien to Katty, humorously mentioning that he's almost too gay to function. After retorting to an insult from a passing jock, Janice introduces herself to Katty as well. Both Janice and Damien offer to help Katty find her next class, health. As they lead her behind the track field, Damien notices that Katty is in 12th grade calculus. Katty admits she likes math because it's universal. She then realizes that Janice and Damien are inviting her to skip class instead of leading her to health, but she feels relieved to have made friends. A brief scene shows the health teacher promoting abstinence and then handing out condoms. Janice and Damien humorously tell Katty that she is a slice and a regulation hottie. As a gym class filters out to the track field, Damien comments on the clothes of a student named Karen Smith, who belongs to the Plastics, a clique he describes as teen royalty. Besides Karen, they point out Gretchen Wieners, another member of the Plastics, who is the heiress to the toaster strudel fortune and known for her vast knowledge of gossip. Finally, they identify Regina George, the leader of the Plastics, who is being carried regally onto the field by various athletes. Damien calls Regina the star and the queen bee, but Janice is more critical, saying, evil takes a human form in Regina George. A brief montage highlights rumors about Regina, like her hair being insured for $10,000, doing car commercials in Japan, and that John Stamos called her pretty. In the school hallway, Damien defends his interest in Regina George because he's part of the Student Activities Committee, which Regina usually leads as the spring fling queen. Janice jokingly teases Damien for outgaying himself. She then gives Katty a hand-drawn map of the cafeteria, explaining how different groups at North Shore High School stick together. Freshmen, ROTC guys, preps, jocks of various levels, different types of nerds, and more. Janice and Damien joke that they're among the coolest people there, while the Plastics are the worst. During lunch that day, Katty is stopped by Jason, who pretends to be conducting a survey to flirt with her. Meanwhile, Regina and the Plastics notice and Regina confronts Jason for previously taking Gretchen to a party and then hitting on another girl in front of them. Regina sends Jason away and warmly invites Katty to sit with them. Regina asks why she doesn't recognize Katty, who explains she was homeschooled in Africa until recently. Regina finds Katty interesting and pretty, complimenting her bracelet. Gretchen agrees enthusiastically, calling it fetch. After a private chat, the Plastics invite Katty to join them for lunch all week, which Regina says is a big deal. Karen adds that on Wednesdays, they wear pink. Janice encourages Katty to pretend to be friends with Regina in the plastics so she can gather juicy gossip about their behavior. Katty admits Regina seemed sweet, but Janice angrily calls her a scum-sucking road whore, with Damien agreeing she's evil yet fabulous. When Katty asks why Janice dislikes Regina so much, Damien starts to explain a rumor Regina spread about Janice, but Janice stops him. When Katty asks to borrow something pink, Janice refuses, while Damien says yes. In math class, a boy named Aaron Samuels asks Katty for a pencil, triggering memories of her first crush in Africa. At home, Katty tells her parents she made friends despite people not being nice. On Wednesday, Katty joins the plastics for lunch wearing Damien's oversized pink polo. Gretchen explains the intricate rules of Girl World, like no tank tops 2 days in a row and specific attire for each day. Katty impresses the girls by quickly calculating the calories in Regina's lunch. When Katty mentions her crush on Aaron Samuels, Gretchen and Karen warn her ease off limits because he's Regina's ex. They forgive Katty but ominously promise to keep it a secret. The next day in math class, Katty finds herself distracted by Aaron Samuels instead of focusing on her work. As she tries to approach him after class, she's interrupted by Kevin Napor, the captain of the school's mathletes team, who invites her to join. With encouragement from Ms. Norberry, Katty agrees. After school, Katty waves at Aaron during soccer practice, but Regina pulls up in her silver Lexus convertible and invites Katty to go shopping with her. At the mall, the plastics strongly discourage Katty from joining the mathletes, warning her it's social suicide. Katty observes the social dynamics at the mall, comparing them to animals in the African savanna. When Regina spots Jason with another girl named Taylor, she becomes vindictive on Gretchen's behalf and anonymously calls Taylor's mother, pretending to be from Planned Parenthood with urgent test results. Later, the plastics gather at Regina's mansion, an impressive house with 4 giant columns at the front. Gretchen advises Katty to compliment Regina's mom on her boob job. Inside, they pass by Regina's little sister dancing to a suggestive music video before meeting Regina's mom, who wears a pink jumpsuit and carries a chihuahua with a feather boa. She's described as a cool mom, with no rules. Upstairs in Regina's room, Katty notices a picture of Regina and Aaron on the wall. The girls take turns complaining about their physical flaws in front of a mirror, and Katty marvels at how many imperfections they can find. In voiceover, Katty reflects on the strange and complex world of the plastics, where appearances and social status are everything. Regina's mom returns with a platter of drinks shaped like cocktails, assuring everyone they're alcohol-free but suggesting Katty can have some if she wants. She tries to chat with the girls, unaware her dog is chewing on her breast implants. Regina discreetly asks her to fix her hair. During their exploration of Regina's room, Karen discovers the burn book, filled with cruel comments about girls at school. Gretchen finds a page about Janice, featuring the word dyke, and a photo of her with Damien, who Katty describes as too gay to function. When the plastics laugh and Regina encourages adding the comment, Katty feels guilty. At the soap store where Janice works, Katty confesses about the burn book but lies, saying she wasn't mentioned. While Damien shops for soap, Janice urges Katty to steal the book so they can expose the plastics' harmful influence on the school. Katty hesitates, unwilling to steal. When Ms. Norberry unexpectedly appears, she encourages Katty to join the mathletes, echoing Regina's earlier warning of social suicide. After Ms. Norberry leaves, Katty tells Janice spying on the plastics feels wrong. Janice reassures her it'll remain our little secret. At home, Katty receives a call from Regina, who informs her that Gretchen has spilled the beans about Katty's crush on Aaron Samuels. Regina remains composed, offering to talk to him for Katty, then probing whether Katty thinks Gretchen's revelation was bitchy. Katty reluctantly agrees, prompting Regina to say, "See Gretch," revealing that Gretchen is listening and offended by Katty's response. In her thoughts, Katty labels the incident a three-way calling attack. In math class, frustrated by her awkward exchanges with Aaron, Katty pretends to struggle with the material to prolong their conversation. Aaron playfully invites Katty to a Halloween party, hinting she should come solo. Leaving class, Kevin asks if she's staying for the mathletes meeting. Katty fibs and says yes, planning instead to work on her costume at home. In her narration, Katty explains that in Girl World, Halloween is an opportunity for girls to don risque outfits without judgment, often opting for lingerie and some kind of animal ears. Later that night, dressed as a zombie bride with decaying teeth, Katty attends the party and meets Gretchen and Karen. Karen spills her drink in shock at Katty's costume and confesses she has a crush on her cousin. Aaron approaches Katty, admires her outfit, and offers to get her a drink. Before he can, Regina, dressed as a Playboy bunny, interrupts and pulls Aaron aside, claiming she has something important to tell him about Katty. Instead of praising Katty, Regina spins a web of lies that portray Katty's innocent crush as a disturbing obsession. Across the room, Katty waves at Regina and Aaron, thinking Regina is speaking well of her, unaware of Regina's deception. When Regina kisses Aaron passionately, Katty reacts with anger, calling Regina a slut. In her thoughts before storming out of the party, she seeks solace with Janice and Damien, who are watching a horror movie alone. Tearfully, Katty reveals that Regina betrayed her and reconciled with Aaron. Janice reaffirms her belief that Regina is a life ruiner and an evil dictator who must be brought down. Fully committed to revenge, Katty joins Janice in devising a plan to dismantle the plastics, starting with isolating their sources of social power: Aaron Samuels, their attractiveness, and their loyal followers. Back at school, Katty reflects on how effortless it was to fake friendships with the plastics. Acting as a mediator, Gretchen defends Regina to Katty and even delivers a hug from Regina. In the cafeteria, Katty notices Regina cruelly flirting with Aaron in her presence and imagines resolving the conflict through primal, animalistic means. Katty's first attempt at sabotage involves replacing Regina's facial cleanser with foot cream, but it backfires when Aaron simply comments on the peppermint smell of her face. When Janice cuts holes in Regina's gym shirt, Regina shrugs it off and wears it anyway, inadvertently sparking a new fashion trend among the school's girls. In the school hallway, Janice, Damien, and Katty lament their slow progress in bringing down the plastics. Katty mentions she's busy preparing for a performance of Jingle Bell Rock, a routine the plastics traditionally perform at the school's winter talent show. She dismisses Janice and Damien when Regina approaches. Regina opens up to Katty, revealing that she and Janice used to be friends until Janice became fixated on Regina after she started dating a boy. Regina admits to excluding Janice from an all-girls party, which eventually led to Janice dropping out of school. Regina then gives a warm compliment to a girl passing by but sharply criticizes Katty's bracelet as the ugliest she's ever seen, leaving Katty uncertain about the sincerity of Regina's earlier compliments. At the winter talent show, hosted by Mr. Duvall, Damien delivers a stirring rendition of Christina Aguilera's Beautiful, accompanied by Ms. Norberry on the piano. Backstage, Katty manipulates Gretchen into feeling excluded by convincing her that Regina sent candy canes to everyone except her. Vulnerable, Gretchen confides Regina's secrets to Katty, including her parents' troubled marriage and her nose job. Finally, the plastics take the stage for their performance of Jingle Bell Rock, but Regina unexpectedly switches Katty with Gretchen at the last moment. Mid-performance, Gretchen accidentally disrupts the music, then kicks the boombox into Jason's face, causing chaos. Uncertainly, Katty starts singing where the music left off, and the audience joins in a sing-along to salvage the performance. Backstage, Gretchen teases Katty about potentially having a crush on Kevin Napor and being part of the mathletes, surprising Aaron, who didn't expect Katty to like math. Regina publicly embarrasses Gretchen for using the word fetch, pushing her closer to a breakdown. During an English class presentation on Brutus's betrayal of Julius Caesar, Gretchen nervously reveals details that indicate she's cracking under pressure. Later, Gretchen confesses to Katty that Regina cheats on Aaron every Thursday with a student named Shane Oman in the projection room. In an attempt to sabotage Regina, Janice, Damien, and Katty start replacing Regina's diet bars with Swedish weight gain bars, tricking her into unwittingly consuming them. In her inner monologue, Katty reflects on how easy it became to pretend to be Regina's friend and revel in her high status at school. Even Janice, her close friend, starts to grow weary of Katty's fixation on Regina and tries to shift their focus by inviting Katty to her art show. In math class, Katty continues to feign incompetence to gain Aaron's attention, eventually asking him to tutor her. During a study session, they share a kiss, but Aaron pulls back, reaffirming his loyalty to Regina. This prompts Katty to reveal to Aaron that Regina has been cheating on him. After Aaron and Regina break up, Regina is devastated and finds solace in Karen and Gretchen's attempts to comfort her. Although Regina quickly rebounds with a new boyfriend, Aaron decides not to pursue a relationship with Katty. Meanwhile, Katty unexpectedly finds herself nominated for Spring Fling Queen alongside Regina and Janice. To sabotage Regina, Katty, Janice, and Damien replace her diet bars with Swedish weight gain bars, causing Regina to struggle fitting into her Spring Fling dress. In math class, Ms. Norberry confronts Katty for her declining grades and accuses her of pretending to be unintelligent to impress boys. Frustrated, Katty joins the plastics in Regina's bedroom and vents her anger in the burn book, distorting Ms. Norberry's remark about being a pusher into an accusation of drug dealing. In school, Katty dismisses Janice's art show and Damien's movie invitation, citing secretive plans to sabotage Regina that she keeps from her friends. She orchestrates a three-way calling attack on Regina, manipulating her into making hurtful comments about Gretchen and Karen. Gretchen tries to inform Karen about Regina's insults, but Regina interrupts the call, causing confusion. Eventually, Gretchen reveals Regina's remarks to Karen, who fakes illness to avoid spending time with Regina. The following day at lunch, Gretchen loses her temper when Regina wears sweatpants on a Monday, breaking their clique's rules. This leads to Gretchen shouting, "You can't sit with us." Regina admits that sweatpants are all that fits her, causing an embarrassing incident as she leaves the cafeteria. Observing this, Katty realizes Gretchen and Karen now treat her like the new queen bee of their group. She manipulates her parents into leaving her behind on a trip so she can throw a party, deliberately excluding Regina. Katty dresses up glamorously for the occasion and invites Aaron Samuels. Unexpectedly, the party attracts a larger crowd than anticipated, and as Regina drives by, she watches with bitterness. As Katty waits for Aaron, she drinks more and deals with unruly guests, eventually finding Aaron in her bedroom. In a drunken moment, she confesses she pretended to struggle with math just to talk to him without Regina noticing. Aaron is put off by her deception and prepares to leave just as Regina opens the bedroom door. Overwhelmed, Katty vomits on Aaron's shoes, creating a humiliating scene. After Aaron storms out of the party, Katty desperately follows him. Damien and Janice catch her in the act, driving by in Damien's car. They confront Katty about her lies and manipulation. Katty retaliates by accusing Janice of being overly obsessed with destroying Regina's life, while Janice fires back that Katty has stopped pretending and has actually become one of the plastics herself. Following the chaotic party, Regina's boyfriend identifies the brand of weight gain bars Regina has been consuming, triggering her fury. Regina angrily returns home, storming up to her bedroom where she cuts up a photo of herself with Katty. She adds a harsh comment next to the shredded photo in the burn book. Instead of placing Katty's photo next to the note, Regina substitutes her own. Regina sits tearfully in the principal's office as Mr. Duvall reads through the burn book, which she claims to have found in the girls' bathroom. She points out that only 3 girls in the school are not mentioned in the book, presumably Katty, Gretchen, and Karen. Katty is summoned out of health class to Mr. Duvall's office, where she finds Gretchen and Karen already present, exchanging tense glances with Regina as she enters. Katty denies the burn book is hers, while Gretchen awkwardly tries to explain that it belongs to Regina, despite the fact that it contains insults directed at her too. Meanwhile, Regina defiantly scatters photocopies of the burn book pages throughout the school hallways as she leaves. As students discover the pages with their names and read the insults, chaos erupts. Fights break out, and Ms. Norberry, caught in the midst of the turmoil, sees a page with her name labeling her as a sad old drug pusher. Back in Mr. Duvall's office, the girls weakly deny any further involvement with the book. Meanwhile, Mr. Duvall is alerted to the escalating situation in the hallways. He smashes a nearby fire alarm with a baseball bat to activate the sprinklers, and angrily orders all junior girls to assemble immediately in the gymnasium to contain the chaos. In voiceover, Katty reflects on the surreal experience of sitting among her peers in the gymnasium, all of them caught up in the aftermath of the burn book chaos. Mr. Duvall, visibly upset by the students' behavior, lectures them on the consequences of their actions and suggests they need a change in attitude. Acknowledging his own limitations, Mr. Duvall turns to Ms. Norbury for guidance. Ms. Norbury, taking charge, asks the girls to close their eyes and raise their hands if they've ever talked about someone behind their back or been the subject of gossip. Most girls raise their hands for both questions. She challenges them to confront these issues directly with each other. Attempting to facilitate these conversations, Ms. Norbury's efforts are met with Regina's complaint that not everyone present is responsible, some are only victims. To address this, Ms. Norbury asks all those who have felt personally victimized by Regina to raise their hands. Nearly everyone, including teachers and Mr. Duvall, raises their hand. Continuing her intervention, Ms. Norbury asks Katty if she has anything to apologize for. Katty, unwilling to own up to her role, disappoints Ms. Norbury. She instructs them to write apologies, share them with the group, and participate in trust falls to rebuild trust among them. Initially, the trust exercises go smoothly, but trouble arises when Damien, disguised in a hoodie and sunglasses, heckles a non-student in the back. Gretchen reads her apology with a smug tone, causing the crowd to part just as she attempts a trust fall, resulting in a hard fall to the ground. During Janice's turn, she is goaded by Regina once more, prompting Janice to reveal the elaborate scheme she, Damien, and Katty concocted to ruin Regina's life over the past year. This revelation shocks the girls in the gymnasium, shifting the atmosphere to one of disbelief and revelation. Regina storms out of the school in anger, with Katty chasing after her to apologize. However, as Regina crosses the road to her mom's car, she lashes out at Katty, calling her a homeschooled jungle freak, and rejecting her apology. Suddenly, Regina is hit by a school bus, resulting in serious injuries. Rumors quickly spread that Katty pushed Regina in front of the bus, worsening her social isolation. At home, Katty argues with her mother over the events, and her father tries to ground her after learning she failed her calculus test. Back at school, Katty finds herself ostracized, no one talks to her, and she eats lunch alone in a restroom stall reminiscent of her first lonely day at North Shore High. In math class, the atmosphere is tense as Mr. Duvall and police investigate accusations against Ms. Norbury for allegedly selling drugs, sparked by the credibility of earlier claims about Coach Carr's inappropriate behavior with students. Erin, feeling disillusioned by the chaos caused by the burn book, dismisses it as the work of stupid girls with boring lives. Despite knowing Erin will likely hate her for it, Katty finally takes responsibility and publicly confesses to writing the burn book. Following her confession, Katty embarks on an apology tour. She visits Regina's house with flowers and expresses remorse, then apologizes to Ms. Norbury for writing hurtful things about her in the burn book. Ms. Norbury, seeing Katty's effort to make amends, suggests that as part of her atonement, Katty join the mathletes and compete in their final tournament of the season. Karen, Regina, Gretchen, Janice, and Damien prepare glamorously for the spring fling dance, while Katty gets ready in her mathlete's uniform to compete at the Illinois High School Mathletes State Championship. Ms. Norbury wishes the mathletes team luck as they face off against Marymount High School. Katty feels nervous during the first round, doubting her own intelligence. Meanwhile, at Katty's home, her mother questions her father about Katty's whereabouts, as she's supposed to be grounded. Her father, confused, remarks, "Aren't they allowed out when they're grounded?" Unaware that Katty chose to attend the Mathletes Championship instead of the spring fling, her parents head to the dance to look for her. As the championship progresses, North Shore High School and Marymount are tied, leading to a sudden death round where one member from each team competes. Katty represents North Shore while Caroline represents Marymount. Despite initial doubts, Katty realizes that mocking Caroline's appearance won't help her win and is dismayed when Caroline buzzes in first. However, Caroline's answer turns out to be incorrect, giving Katty the opportunity to provide the correct answer and secure the championship for North Shore Mathletes. Ms. Norbury and the audience erupt in celebration, with Kevin Napor enthusiastically ripping his shirt open in jubilation. At the venue after the Mathletes Championship, the team revels in trying on their newly won championship jackets. Despite initially hesitating due to being grounded, Katty is persuaded by Kevin and Ms. Norbury to attend the spring fling dance. She arrives just in time to hear Mr. Duvall announcing the winners for spring fling king and queen. As she navigates through the crowd, she spots her parents near the bleachers. Shane Oman is crowned as spring fling king by Mr. Duvall, and just as Katty is about to approach her parents, she hears her own name being called out as spring fling queen. The crowd responds with polite applause, followed by a hushed silence as Katty takes the stage and accepts the tiara. Addressing everyone through the microphone, Katty acknowledges that she knows many in the room don't like her and takes responsibility for the hurt caused by the burn book. She reflects on how everyone looks regal at the event and decides to break the tiara apart, declaring that everyone should share in its symbolism. This action surprises Damien, who gasps, as Katty hands pieces of the tiara to Gretchen, Janice, and Regina, symbolizing reconciliation and shared respect. Finally, she throws the remaining pieces into the audience, symbolizing unity and closure. In the later scene, Katty encounters Janice and Damien, both dressed in matching purple tuxedos. They reach a truce, marking a reconciliation in their friendship. Damien points out Aaron Samuels nearby, who presents Katty with 2 gift certificates. Janice and Damien playfully snatch one of them away, and Aaron congratulates Katty on the Mathletes Championship win. They start dancing together. The camera pans to show various pairs on the dance floor, Katty with Aaron, Regina with Shane, Ms. Norbury with Mr. Duvall, and Janice with Damien, who awkwardly attempt to kiss but recoil in disgust. Kevin Napor then swoops in to take Janice's arm. In voiceover, Katty reflects that the Plastics disbanded after Regina channeled her aggression into lacrosse, Karen took on morning weather announcements, and Gretchen found a new social circle. Aaron went to Northwestern University, where Katty occasionally sees him. Katty concludes that Girl World found peace. Outside the school on the front lawn, Damien spots a group of freshman girls he jokingly dubs the Junior Plastics. Katty jokes that she'll handle any disruptions by ramming them with a school bus, ending the film on a humorous note. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.